everybody. Today I'm making some sugar-free cherry jello. My oldest son, he had brought this to me. He had given me a food box and he'd given me a strawberry sugar-free and a cherry, and I made this strawberry yesterday and it's already all gone because we have been having triple-digit weather, and it was so good because during this hot weather you don't even want to eat because it's just so hot. Okay, so what you do is you put it in 1 cup of hot water, okay, and you just stir it till it dissolves. This was so easy. I wasn't making it because I was like, I wonder what the process is, and it's so super easy. So from now on, I'm gonna go buy a bunch of those of these sugar-free. I try to stay away from as much sugar as possible because I do like my sweets. You know, I like to have like pastries and cupcakes. So I don't want to overdo it. I'm not diabetic or even close to it, but I am getting older and I just want to be on the safe side. So I try to drink drinks without any sugar. And if I can find sweets that are sugar-free, I try to go that route. And then I got a bunch of apples and bananas at the store right now that it's so hot because you just don't even want to cook right now. So I'm also heating up one of these toaster pop-ups. Put it in the microwave. Okay. So that looks pretty good dissolved. And now I'm going to just set that right there. Okay, so now I have to put in 1 cup of cold water. And then I'm going to add just a little bit more because I don't think the hot water was all the way to the top of this. So I'm just going to add a little bit more. And that's it. You just stir it, stick it in the fridge, and it hardens, and it's so good. And I have some like canned fruit cocktail I could put in here, but that's real sugary, so I'm just eating it like this right now that it's so hot. And that's it. 1 cup of hot water, 1 cup of cold water, stir it, stick it in the fridge, and you're done. So I didn't realize how easy it is, so I'm gonna buy a bunch of these next time I see them. And you know what? I had seen some on sale at the store the other, they were like 3 for $1 at Grocery Outlet. It was a different brand. And I didn't get any because I thought they were going to be really hard to make. So let me take this over here. Get my lid. Okay, I just washed this up because I had made this yesterday. Another batch. Well, so anyways, I was talking to my landlord yesterday. He had come by. Well, he didn't come by here, but I saw him. And I told him about that giant spider that was in the house, in the apartment yesterday. And he told me that, yeah, that those giant spiders, he goes, was it really giant? I said, yeah, it was huge. He said, yeah, we have those out here. I was like, I've never seen a spider that big. He's like, yeah. He's like, but they're real easy to kill. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So he told me what kind of spray to get. So I'm going to go tomorrow morning, first thing in the morning, because it is just too hot to go out right now. And so I'm going to go get, let me take this off. So I'm going to go get some of that spray. So I guess I had thought maybe that spider had just arrived, you know, with the tomato plants, but no, when we had them outside, that spider is from around here. I guess it climbed in, and when I brought it in, it just took off running in the apartment. It was so awful. So I was pretty shook up yesterday, and my son came by, and I told him, you know what, I'm ready to move into a 20-story apartment building. Like, I want to live in a high rise, like 20 stories up, where I don't see any spiders, bugs, snakes, anything like that. And he's like, he didn't say anything. And then he told me, Mom, you know what, At least you're not living in the ghetto anymore, because a couple of years ago, was it a couple of years ago already? I was living in a studio apartment in a really bad city. I mean, it was really bad. A high crime, like one of the highest crimes. The street that I lived on was like one of the highest crimes in the nation. But I didn't know at the time when I moved in, because I had taken over someone else's lease. They didn't want to live there anymore, and so I moved in, and it was bad. There was drive-by shootings. There was like every 3 days there's drive-by shootings. They would bash out the windows if they didn't steal your car. They'd bash out windows in homes, apartments. It was just awful. It was so dangerous, and that's why I had to leave. And actually, the assistant pastor, he's an ordained minister, he actually had to get me out, because it was so dangerous one day that I really thought I was gonna die. I mean, and I'm not talking like when I'm scared of the spiders. I mean, this was like really serious. So the pastor had to come and get me out, and he really pretty much saved my life. And then that's when I had to go live in a car, because I had nowhere to go. I had that, so I had to call the company and let them know that I moved out, and I had to leave everything behind. I couldn't even bring my stuff with me, because whatever was in the apartment, only what I could grab in my vehicle, and then the pastor put stuff in his vehicle, and we were out. And actually, my son was the one that called the pastor, and my son came and the pastor, and they got me out. And so I had nowhere to go. And so that's when I had started my car living, because I had no place and I had nothing. I had to leave everything behind, and what I couldn't fit in my car. And it was a really scary time. So then from that studio apartment, which was so expensive already, but it was still cheaper than anything I could afford in the town that I had come from. So now I'm back in my original town and living here, and I'm in a 2-bedroom apartment, which is awesome. But I was having to live out of my SUV for quite a long time, and that was a nightmare. But at least I was in a better city than that really high crime city that I was living in. That was just like, you can't even imagine what goes on in those high crime areas. And it's like every day. Like when they would come to work on the power lines, they had to have a police escort. Like they had to have a police car parked with them when they're doing the power lines, or they wouldn't come out, because the guys in the area would just rob the trucks, the power company trucks. And so they had to have a police escort. When the power would go out, the police would put like a barricade around not a barricade, but those little, they look like sandwich, they have like 4 posts. Looks like something that you could put a board on top of and like start sawing, but they would put those up with do not enter, and they would block them in the alleys, and they would let them work on the power lines. So, and then that was just to tell you how bad the area was. And then my son had Googled it, and I guess one of the street that I had lived on was like one of the most high crime in the nation. And I was like, oh, of course, that's where I moved. And so I would drive to work just a few days a week, because of gas. I only worked a few days a week. And then the other days that I wasn't working, when I lived in that area, I would DoorDash. So I was DoorDashing in the ghetto, and sometimes at night. And actually, when the pastor came to get me out, he was helping me load my car real fast, and he saw my DoorDash bag in my SUV, and he was like, girl, are you DoorDashing in this neighborhood? I was like, yeah, I DoorDash in this town. And he's like, you are crazy. And I was like, no, I needed to make money. I needed to live. And so it wasn't bad, because I'm real fast. I move really quick. I'm like real hyper. So like when I was going from my vehicle to the homes, I was quick. Drop off, take my picture, send it to them, and run back to my vehicle, get in, take off, and I'd be on my next one. So I used to do, pretty decent money door dashing, But it was dangerous, but I never had a problem. Nobody ever bothered me or anything. Now there was other Door Dashers that they would say like they would get robbed, or they were like seeing other cars getting stolen or robbed during times of delivery. And I was like, yeah, you just can't pay attention. You just need to do what you got to do and get out. Like, you can't even, don't be a witness, don't say nothing, just go and move. And that was the only reason why I pretty much had survived that whole time in that ghetto area, was because I just kept my head down. I didn't pay any attention to anybody. Um, but then towards the end, it just got real bad, and I had to get out. So that is a quick story on how I went car homeless, from living in that studio. And then there was a point before that till I went studio living that I don't know um, if I'll ever talk about, because it was pretty tragic how I ended up from a nice house to a studio. And I don't know, maybe one day I'll talk about it, but I'm not ready to divulge that information. I don't know if I ever will. It was very, very tragic. And so, okay, so anyways, I just was making some Jello. I kind of gave you a recap on the spider incident. Oh, so anyways, my son told me that this is how I got on the story. My son told me, Mom, you know, even though you got giant spiders out here and ants, don't worry about it. At least you're not living in the ghetto. And I was like, you know what? You are 1,000% correct. Like, I could have still been in the ghetto or dead. Like, I would be dead by now, most likely. And I said, no, you're right. I am in a safe area and in an apartment in a safe area. And I just got to deal with spiders. You know, I just got to get over it. I'm like, he's like, Mom, if you could handle living in the ghetto during that time, you know, you got it. You should be able to handle spiders. I'm like, yeah. All right. So tomorrow I'm going to go get spray. It's really hot, so I got to get this in the fridge. But this is sugar-free cherry Jello. Okay, everybody. Super easy to make. Thank you for watching.